The final head coach, who I think was a positive hire, although I'm skittish about, is Kellen Moore to the Saints. Now, hear me out. Kellen Moore is interesting because like 3 years ago, people thought he was the next big thing. Hot shot, fast rising, doesn't come from the Shanahan tree, so you know he's a little bit of a free thinker and innovator. Oh boy, he could be great. But that was 3 teams ago, right? Mike McCarthy stripped him of play calling duties and then sent him over to the Chargers. And then he was in San Diego or LA, and their offense wasn't really any different than it was under Joe Lombardi, who's not very good. So that didn't work very well. And then he went to Philly. And I don't think anybody would say that Philly's offense was good because of their brilliant play design. I think they would say, like, oh, yeah, the best offensive line of a generation with the best running back in the league. Yeah, they probably put up some numbies, huh? Like, that's not coaching. That is... I started the premise portion of this video series by saying, like, hey, the X's and the O's are way more important than the Jimmies and the Joes. There's a caveat. If you build an all-pro team out of your football team, you're probably still going to win, right? The reason that college coaching is different than NFL coaching is because back in the day, Saban could just line up and run halfback dive up the gut every single play at Bama, and his 5-star offensive line was going to maul your 2-star defensive lineman, and his 5-star running back was going to destroy your 3-star linebackers, and he's going to score 50 points a game without doing anything, because everything works when you are superior at every single thing, right? The best defense in the world is man defense, too high man defense with the best cornerbacks on the planet and the best pass rush on the planet. Just like the best government is a king who is perfect. But as we know from dictators, pretty rare you get an enlightened despot. And as we know from watching football, pretty rare in the NFL you get an all-pro team. Unless you're the Eagles. They built an all-pro team. I digress. Kellen Moore is a mediocre offensive coaching hire, right? He's fine. There are elements of good Mike McCarthy West Coast offense to his game, right? He has some Earhart Perkins to his offense, some, Air Coryell to his offense, but he's not brilliant. He's not even on that Liam Coen bit. He's like a middle-of-the-pack offensive mind. But middle of the pack is better than they've had in years, right? It's better than the Sean Payton coattail riders who stuck around after he retired. But it's not great. That being said, who are the Saints going to hire? Nobody in their right mind wanted this job. The cap is screwed. Chris Olave, your best offensive player, he wants out. Alvin Kamara is getting paid, and he's old and washed up already. Derek Carr is hurt and mercurial, right? Sometimes he looks pretty good. Other times he looks pretty bad. He never looks great, but he never looks awful. I think this is brilliant because if Kellen Moore works out the way people thought he would 3 years ago, sick. You gambled, you won. If he's terrible, cool. You rebuild for 3 years, repair your cap health, repair your, draft pick selection, build your roster up organically from the start, total rebuild, and you figured out who isn't your head coach, which brings you to your next opportunity. And maybe by then, you'll have a first overall pick, there'll be a nice quarterback prospect, you become attractive, you get the top guy, the Ben Johnson of 2030. They took a chance, and it's a chance that can pay off. And they're too good to tank. So, if Kellen Moore is brilliant, they're a wild card team. If he's an idiot, they're probably like a 4-win team again. And that's still a good pick, and you can still build up. So I think it's a really great hire given the givens, given how unattractive this job was. But no, I don't think it's a good hire. I don't think Kellen Moore is going to be, taking the NFC South by storm. I think it's still probably the Buccaneers division. Oh, it'll be close. It'll be really close. They did about as well as they could have, given the mess that they got themselves into. That being said, there are rumors out there, like pretty strong rumors, that Kellen Moore is trying to get Brandon Staley as his defensive coordinator, just running back what completely and objectively failed with the Chargers 2 years ago. That'd be really dumb. Brandon Staley is a terrible head coach, but his biggest failure as a head coach is that he's terrible as a defensive coordinator. Like, unbelievably bad. So I would not hire him. But again, if it's a disaster and it sucks and Kellen Moore's a bad decision maker and not a very good play caller and the Saints win 0 games for the next 3 years, good. They're out of cap hell. They have all their cap space back. It's not like they have any superstars they're trying to, maximize their window with. Trade off assets, build back better. Not the worst thing. When you're really screwed, the best thing to do is take a risk. Right? Think of it like a UFC fight. It's a championship fight. It's the 5th round. You got your ass beat in 4 of the rounds. It's the 5th round. You can do the smart. You can box smart, right? Play defense, grapple, time on top control. Oh, yeah, you can win the round. That's nice. And then you lose the fight 4-1 in rounds. Or, counterpoint, you could just throw some crazy shit at the wall. Superman punches and trying to knee guys in the face and throwing roundhouse kicks and doing some acrobatic weird shit that looks like it's from Tekken. You can get your ass knocked out, and that's going to hurt. But you're already going to lose, and you already got beat up, so you're already going to hurt. You might as well throw some shit at the wall and see if maybe you can get a crazy Leon Edwards knockout at the last second. Why not? Getting knocked out hurts. Having a terrible season hurts. But having bad seasons and getting beat up also hurt. So, the difference is small. Might as well take a chance. I believe that's just what the Saints did. I think that Kellen Moore is a B+ hire, despite the fact that I don't think he's a very good coach. Right? I think he's going to have a B offense, and he could have an F defense if they hire Brandon Staley. Call it a D. Regardless, I think they did great given the givens, given that Ben Johnson said no, and Liam Coen never said no, and Aaron Glenn didn't want to go there. Honestly, I don't know if I want Aaron Glenn anyway. Who else are you going to get? You're not luring Lincoln Riley out of USC, right? You're not going to go get Steve Sarkisian. Nobody's taking this friggin' job. So just bide your time. Take chances until then, but bide your time. And everybody's going to respect him in the room because Kellen Moore just won a Super Bowl with that brilliant, brilliant play calling of, hey, Cooper DeJean, go get me a pick 6. And then Zach Bond, if you could get us down to the 5-yard line so we could tush push it a few times. Dope. That'd be dope. Thanks, man. So that's Kellen Moore. That's the Saints. You did fine. Keep those expectations kind of low. Don't get too excited. Next coach. Unless you just wanted to hear the Kellen Moore part, in which case, take it easy.